the slimiest, most fake, most disingenuous politician in all of Canada. No, not Trudeau. I am, of course, talking about Jagmeet Singh, the one man who's holding a country of 40 million people hostage. Why is he doing this? Many think it has to do with his pension, which is said to be granted in February. But the real reason that he is holding one of the most important countries in the Western Hemisphere hostage is a little more insidious than just essentially stealing a pension from a taxpayer base who doesn't actually like it. So let's start from here. What does it actually mean to hold a country hostage? Well, the term hostage is defined by a person seized or held as security for the fulfillment of a country. Trust me, I know you know what hostage means, but this technical definition is actually very important for what I'm about to say. Jagmeet Singh, being the leader of the third largest political faction in the country and being the former co-chair of a major coalition that was propping the Lizard King himself up, refuses to listen to his constituents and Canadians who have been demanding for an election to be called so that the Trudeau government can finally come into question. Jagmeet actually realized that the pressure was getting too great. So he did what he does best, political spectacle work. By ripping the charter that he had with Trudeau's Liberal government, Jagmeet signaled that he wanted to create distance between him and Trudeau. But in reality, and in the past week that we just saw, he literally openly backed the Liberal government when the Conservatives tried to push for a non-confidence vote in Parliament. If Jagmeet didn't do this, if Jagmeet actually stuck to his word, we would have seen a national election being started right now. Jagmeet would finally allow Canadians to vote their feelings about what's happening to this once great nation. But if that would have happened, that would mean that he wouldn't be getting his pension. If Jagmeet can stall everything until February 2025, then he is guaranteed a federal pension for life. Now, going back to our Oxford definition of the word hostage, Jagmeet Singh is essentially holding the entire nation as a security for the fulfillment of being granted a federal pension. And I want you to really feel this. This guy is preventing millions of dissatisfied voters like you and I from voting our opinion on what's happening in our own backyard because he wants his pension. And there's actually an underlying reason to this. The reason that Jagmeet is not so brave in taking the risk of calling his own leadership into vote in the event of a non-confidence vote against Trudeau is because Jagmeet Singh's own riding of Burnaby South is looking like it's going to flip conservative. Based on this recent 338 polling data, I want to show you how big of a deal this actually is. The leader of a major political faction within the Canadian government might lose not only his own riding, but the riding that he was given, which was considered an NDP fortress. You see, when you're a leader of a political party in Canada, it won't look good on the party if you lose your own seat. So you can be parachuted into ridings which are considered safe, which have a larger percentage of your own constituents, where you really have to mess up badly to lose. Prior to federal politics, Jagmeet Singh was representing Ramalaya Gore Malton in Ontario and actually had the option to stay in the same riding or switch to a different nearby adjacent riding in Ontario, or when he wanted to move into federal politics. He was parachuted into Burnaby, BC, since that riding was always NDP from its inception. But now, that riding has been dissolved into two different ridings, both of which are not safe for him anymore. Jagmeet does not want to listen to Canadians like you. Does not want to actually use the democratic institutions that are embedded within this country by calling for a vote, because he knows he will most likely lose his own safe riding and therefore lose an election. Now to the most important part of this video, how this will affect you. There's about a 90% chance that you will not see an election until the end of next year, because even if Jagmeet were to get his pension in February, if he chose the option of calling an election right after he got his pension, then he should basically immediately tattoo the name Sellout Singh on his forehead, seeing as how his political future and trust in Canadians would be completely shattered forever. So you'll most likely see Jagmeet Singh continuing his support for the vastly unpopular Trudeau government. You will also see more of Trudeau and Jagmeet scandals come to light as more and more of their supporters want to torpedo their positions. So you're going to see more leaks, more scandals, and more calls for stepping down by their respective MPs like we've seen with Trudeau. I had to reshoot this part because the Lizard King's curses corrupted my save file. Now all of these scandals, all of the problems in Canada, all the discomfort you are facing in your life as a result of living within this country can all be boiled down down into one word: mismanagement. Canada should be one of the wealthiest states on earth. Canada should have the best healthcare, the best technology, and the best standard of life on the planet. Canada should be a representation of what happens when you bring different groups of people from all over the world through what used to be a world-class immigration system to prove to the world what humanity can do as a result of unity. But instead, because of 9 years of Trudeau, his disastrous policies, and his crazy supporters, Canada is essentially just a third world country with makeup on. But Trudeau isn't actually to blame. All of these problems in Canada, all of these problems are because of you. Okay, maybe not you, but it's because of Canadians. Canadians voted this mess into office. Because Canadians forget this: economics is king. Ignore woke politics. Ignore bullshit theatrical political productions, like what Singh did with the charter with the Liberals. We have to focus on making Canada rich. Look around everywhere you go in this country. It's the same goddamn corporations you see over and over and over again. Where are the small businesses? Where are the Canadians fighting for their economic future? I made this channel to first analyze how the super successful and super rich reach the positions that they've reached. I even boiled down their entire life stories and broke it down into one single impactful, life-changing choice, which essentially turned their entire life around. And if you find that interesting, you can watch the playlist here. But then I realized something. I realized that they became great. They became household names. They became who they were meant to become as a result of the system that they lived in. And more specifically, as a result of the capitalist system that they were in, which allowed them to flourish. The system we are in today in Canada will most likely not let you become the next great household name. Instead, the brutal, woke, apocalyptic system that we're in today will just eventually turn everybody into nihilists. But all of these problems can be remediated, which is why I'm making more political content in the hopes of reminding everyone the common sense objectives that this country and actually every other country in the world has: true wealth, true health, and a future to fight for. I would love to see your comments down below, and I would love to see more of you in the next video. Like, share, and subscribe.